But I am a worm, and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people.
You know, sometimes the most incredible truths aren't shouted from the rooftops. They're hidden in plain sight, tucked away in places you'd never think to look. Today, we're diving into one of those secrets. It's a mystery woven into one of the Bible's most famous Psalms, all hinging on a single, almost universally overlooked word. Let's get into it. So let's start at the cross. These are the gut-wrenching words Jesus cried out. And he wasn't just speaking from his own anguish. He was quoting the very first line of a psalm written 1,000 years earlier. That psalm, Psalm 22, is an unbelievably detailed prophecy of the crucifixion. But inside that same prophecy, we find a line that has made a lot of people just scratch their heads. Just a few verses later, the messianic prophecy continues, saying, "But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people." A worm? Really? Why on earth would the Son of God, in this moment of ultimate sacrifice, compare himself to something so lowly? Turns out, this isn't just a metaphor for being humble. It's a clue, a massive one. To really get this, we have to do a little digging. We have to go back to the original text. See, the Hebrew word that the psalmist chose here, it isn't the generic word for worm. It's incredibly specific, and that one specific choice changes absolutely everything. Okay, so the common Hebrew word for a maggot or, a regular garden variety worm is rimma. But that is not the word used in Psalm 22. The word there is Tola'ath. And Tola'ath refers to a very particular insect known to the entire ancient world as the crimson worm or the scarlet worm. This wasn't a mistake, it was intentional. And it's the key that unlocks this whole thing. The Tola'ath wasn't just some bug. It was a source of something incredibly valuable back then, a permanent, brilliant crimson dye. To get this dye, which was the color of blood, you had to crush the insect's body. Now, if that sounds significant, just wait until you hear about its life cycle. That's where the prophecy truly comes alive. So why this specific worm? Why would the Messiah identify with the Tola'ath? Well, the answer isn't just about the color it produces. It's about its bizarre and frankly profoundly sacrificial way of life. Okay, get this. When the female crimson worm is ready to have her babies, she climbs onto a tree or a wooden stalk and attaches herself so firmly that she can never leave. She then lays her eggs safely under her body, which hardens into a protective shell. When her young hatch, they literally survive by feeding on her living body for 3 days. On the 3rd day, the mother worm dies, and in that moment, she releases a gush of crimson red fluid that stains her children and the wood she's attached to. But the story's not over. After those 3 days, her dead body transforms. It turns into this snow-white, waxy substance that eventually flakes off the tree and falls to the ground like snow. The parallels are just staggering. Think about it. A creature that willingly attaches itself to wood to die. Its body is broken so that its children can live. Its crimson blood covers them, marking them. And after 3 days, a transformation takes place. When Jesus said, "I am a Tola'ath," he wasn't just being humble. He was pointing to a stunning picture of his own sacrifice that God had literally written into the biology of one of his smallest creatures. And believe it or not, the connection goes even deeper. That crimson dye from the Tola'ath worm wasn't just any color. It was a color woven through the most sacred traditions and objects in the entire Bible. Here's a cool little side note. The dried bodies of these crimson worms looked a lot like little seeds or grains, so the dye itself was often called green. And when a piece of fabric was dyed with this super permanent color, they called it dyed in the grain. That's actually where we get our modern word ingrained, which means something that's fixed so deeply it can't be removed. This specific crimson color from this specific worm was actually commanded by God for use in the most holy places and rituals. It was literally woven into the curtains of the sacred tabernacle, it was used in the high priest's holy robes, and it was a key part of purification ceremonies. So for centuries, this color has been a powerful symbol of blood, sacrifice, and making things clean. And that brings us to the final, most beautiful part of this entire story. Remember how the worm's body turns white after its sacrifice? Well, that physical transformation echoes one of the most powerful promises you'll find anywhere in Scripture. The prophet Isaiah lays out this incredible promise from God, but look at the words he uses. Though they are red like crimson. The Hebrew word he chose for crimson right there, it's Tola'ath, the very same word from Psalm 22. The promise that our deepest, most ingrained crimson stains can be made white as snow is literally linguistically tied to the story of the crimson worm, which gives its life and is transformed into a snow-white shell on a tree. So when Jesus declared, "I am a worm," he was pointing to this incredible, multi-layered story of sacrificial love, of crimson atonement, and of glorious transformation, a story God had already written into the natural world for anyone with eyes to see.
For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse.